So I want to bring everyone's attention to this guy named Eli Lake. I had never heard of this guy before. Apparently, he's a journalist, but more importantly, he's a Jewish supremacist. So he's been posting on Twitter unbelievably racist things and propagating Jew race science masquerading under the moniker of ethnicity, and spreading a whole bunch of lies. Now, I don't tolerate racism from anyone, okay? Whether it's Jewish supremacists, white supremacists, or anyone else. If you're a racist and a degenerate piece of shit, I'm going to expose you. Okay? I'm going to put you on blast. And I've been exposing a ton of Jewish supremacists on Twitter these days. And Eli Lake was one of them. Now, Eli Lake uses a burner account, a fake account. And this is it. Now, I'm going to go into more of the details about what happened later on, but I just want to give a quick summary of everything that's going on. So Eli Lake has been using this fake account to argue Jew race science and Jew pseudoscience masquerading under the moniker of ethnicity. I made a whole video about this before, how Zionists equivocate between the word race and ethnicity. In fact, early Zionists did not call Jews an ethnicity, called it a race. They just relabeled race to ethnicity. So I've been refuting, exposing this fake account, and also refuting all of the pseudoscientific Jew race realism arguments that this Jewish supremacist has been using. And it got triggered. It got really mad and decided to make things personal. And after a lot of back and forth, it decided, Eli Lake, to do this. Post videos. Post links to SSSniperwolf's video where she slandered me. No. You don't ever do that. You never, ever amplify slander. So this pathetic degenerate was spouting Jewish race science and lies, and was defending Jews who rape and murder children. Okay? That's what this degenerate piece of shit was doing. And when I exposed it for doing that, this is how it responds, because that's how they all respond. And I don't tolerate that. So that's why I'm making this video, to expose Eli Lake as a Jewish supremacist and also an amplifier of slander. And in the event that I do sue SSSniperwolf, you can bet I will sue Eli Lake for this as well. But let us take a look at a video that talks about this subject in more detail so we can get a better understanding of the slander that SSSniperwolf did from a third-person perspective, a third-party perspective, rather.
That was not the only person she affected around that time in her YouTube career. She had gotten in a feud with another creator who went by the name of Enigmahood. Years ago, Enigmahood had made videos on Sniperwolf criticizing her for different things that she had done, one being the way that she had treated her fans. Sniperwolf really didn't like this. It got to a point where she filed a DMCA, which I find extremely funny. Not funny haha, funny what the fuck. There is a video of Sniperwolf talking about why she DMCA'd him. Let's roll that clip really quick.
He made a video using my content. He re-uploaded my video and essentially just insulted me over it. And I really don't like people using my content without permission, especially if it's in a negative way, but if it's in a positive way and you ask me first, it's fine, go for it. So I reported his video on YouTube for copyright, and he made another butthurt video saying I filed a false copyright claim and that he was entitled to use my content.
Does anybody else see the irony here? She didn't want other people to upload her content without her permission.
A couple of years ago, he re-uploaded one of my videos, and you can't just take somebody else's content and re-upload it and monetize it. So I filed the copyright claim with YouTube trying to take it down.
The video that Enigmahood had done was done with fair use. Yes, he did share clips of Sniperwolf's video in his video, but he provided commentary, his own opinions, and thoughts over it. Which, by the way, really quick, I do not agree with every single thing he said about Sniper Wolf. There are some things that I definitely do not condone, but at the end of the day, what he had said in this video that had gotten DMCA'd was fair use, and in order to appeal a DMCA on YouTube, you have to provide the person who filed the DMCA with your personal information, your name, your address, pretty much anything that's identifiable, because if they wanted to take it to court, they would need that information. This is also the same with copyright takedown requests. Enigma Hood claims that she filed a DMCA against him, while she claims that she reported him for copyright. In both situations, if you would like to appeal it, you would have to provide your information. Not only does Enigma Hood claim that Sniper Wolf doxed him with this information,
she has also doc dropped me.
Allegedly, we'll get into that later, but sometime after, she had also made a very, very serious accusation against Enigma Hood that has followed him up to the current day. This is something that has caused him harassment for years and years at this point. In a video titled My Biggest Hater, which is still up by the way and has 3.1 million views, Sniper Wolf claimed to the world that Enigma Hood was a registered sex offender.
And in the copyright process, I got his real name, and of course I googled his name, and it turns out he is a registered sex offender. He is a registered sex offender.
First of all, as many people, including Enigma Hood himself, have responded with, there is no such information when you look it up on Google. Many people have made videos talking about how there has been nothing on Google. Enigma Hood had responded, adamantly denying this accusation entirely.
So SSSniperwolf has decided to slander my name by accusing me of being a sex offender. She has also doc dropped me and revealed my real name and my personal information, which her fanboys have been posting in her video in the comment section over and over. She has done this before as well. I am seriously considering to sue her. Everything else she said in the video, I really couldn't care less about. It's laughably stupid. But accusing someone of being a sex offender is a criminal offense when you are deliberately lying to defame and slander someone's good name. This is not covered underneath the First Amendment. You are not allowed to accuse someone of a criminal offense and then paint them as a criminal, as a sex offender. One of the most odious and repugnant crimes in the world. It is also incredibly hypocritical that she accuses me of this repugnant, awful crime when she herself is a convicted felon who was arrested for armed robbery. I was never arrested once in my entire life. Not once.
He's a long-time hater.
Long-time hater.
I have average access to the internet. I am an average person who does my best to research as much as I possibly can. I have searched every database that I can think of. I have spent hours trying to find anything that could indicate that what Sniper Wolf said here was true. I tried to search not just Google, but databases, files, everything possible. I have found nothing. I wanted to add in that even while editing this video, I am still actively searching for any information that can indicate that anything that Sniper Wolf had said about Enigma Hood is true or not. The reason for me doing this is because of how heavy an accusation like this is. I'm trying to go over this situation as seriously and carefully that I possibly can. At this current point in time, there is no evidence whatsoever to prove that what Sniper Wolf said was true. No registry, no arrest records, no court records. We have Enigma Hood himself adamantly denying this accusation, and sorry for the spoiler, but filing a lawsuit over this. More on that in a moment. Not only that, but during the time that this was really circulating, people have come out with their own videos stating that they also could not find any evidence of what Sniper Wolf said to be true.
Because based upon my investigation into this, and I have ways to check on things that you guys don't, there's no evidence, reasonable or otherwise, that was to say Enigma Hood was anything what she said. Absolutely not. He has nothing in his, there's nothing. There's nothing on him. He's clean. Media
Said that he was a registered sex offender, quote unquote. Her words, not mine.
You go watch the video and tell me I'm wrong. Upon further investigation on the National Register for Sexual Offenders by the Department of Justice, there is no such name of this person. I'm talking about the proper name of Enigma Hood, not his username on YouTube, okay? Before you even hit me up in the comments.
Enigma Hood is not a registered sex offender. I know this because I did my own research. She made it a point to put his real name and dox him in her comment section, so she put his real name down in the comment section so anybody can find it, and I looked up his real name, and it turns out he's not a registered sex offender.
All of these video examples are several years old, and they're from channels that are seemingly much smaller than SSniperwolf's channel was, making it much easier for these testimonies to be forgotten about or not even seen by most people, while SSniperwolf's video is still resting at 3.1 million views. SSniperwolf must have gotten a lot of questions about it, because this is eventually what she said. "He is not going to sue me, and he has no grounds to do so. I wouldn't lie and make such an accusation in a malicious manner. I know what it's like to be falsely accused of dumb shit. When I looked him up 2 to 3 years ago, he was on a registered sex offender list, and there was other stuff. Now that stuff is removed and you cannot find it. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It's possible and very easy to have it removed. I wouldn't lie and just say something like this. That's terrible." Now, at first glance of this statement, it might seem pretty easy to believe what she's saying, though I do find her wording interesting because instead of saying, "I didn't lie," she said, "I wouldn't lie." But even without looking too deeply into the wording of her statement, she mentions that 2 to 3 years prior to making this video, she looked him up and found that he was on a sex offender registry, and that since then it has been completely removed and it's really easy to do so. Here's the thing. While researching for the part of this video that discusses her getting arrested, it was really hard to find any information about either time that she got arrested other than her mugshots and the videos discussing it. As somebody who is not a lawyer, I am under the assumption that the process of getting your criminal record removed from the internet might be different depending on which state you live in, and also depending on the type of crime you commit. Armed robbery and being a sex offender are 2 different offenses, and as far as my knowledge takes me, one does not simply appear on a sex offender registry without committing some sort of crime and being arrested for it. I don't think you could just call your local police station and be like, "Hey, can you put me on this list for funsies?" And even if you could for whatever reason, I don't think too many people would want to be on that kind of list. Going back to what I recently said, I have looked through every avenue on the internet that I could think of and found nothing. The only thing that I did find was information stating that in the state that Enigma Hood resides in, one could request to be taken off of a registry after 15 years of not committing another offense, but if I am correct, even then it's not guaranteed. To sum everything up though, here's the thing. As far as I am aware, right now, with all of the research that I have done up to this point, there is no evidence to prove that what SSniperwolf said about Enigma Hood is true.
So there you go. So I had to go through that entire thing because it's necessary. Just to prove my innocence, even though I shouldn't have to. But every time this comes up, and this keeps on coming up because of SSSniperwolf's slander, and I don't forgive, and I don't forget. Now, back to this guy. So, how did this all begin? Why am I even talking about him? Well, it's because, let's get the right image here. It's because Eli Lake has been advancing Jewish race pseudoscience. So he asserted that, you can see in this tweet he made here, the Jewish people are indigenous to the land of Israel. Zionism is an anti-colonial movement. Both of those statements are lies. So I posted the proof that this is a complete lie. So you can see here that ancient Israelites weren't even Jews. Yahwism is the name given by modern scholars to the religion of ancient Israel. Yahwism was essentially polytheistic with a plethora of gods and goddesses. That's the beginning and the end of it. Done. Okay, ancient Israelites weren't Jews. Now, the other lie that he makes is he asserts that Jewish people are indigenous to the land of Israel. Well, the lie is that he's implying that Jewish people are a monolith and an ethnicity. Neither are true. Okay? I made an entire video discussing that Jews are not an ethnicity. I'll post a link to that in the description. Basically, anyone can become Jewish. They can all convert and become Jewish. So European Jews are not indigenous to the land of what he calls Israel, which is Palestine. Okay, the Israelites are long dead. They are from Europe. So I exposed all of this. And then what does Eli Lake do? Eli Lake uses his fake account to advance more Jew race science. And he's trying to propagate a lot of pseudoscience using a lot of really bad scientific articles that were published by Israel. And then I pointed out, nope, Ashkenazis are just Italians that convert to Judaism. So if you look at this a little closer, you can see what I circled here. And so it's kind of hard to see it here, but these pink circles are Ashkenazi Jews. And you can see they're clustering with these teal crosses. Okay, those are Sicilians, Italians. Okay, so that's actually what Ashkenazis are. Ashkenazis are just Italians that converted to Judaism. And we can see that there's a little bit of clustering with some Turkish Jews as well. You can see these like little pink stars here. Some clustering there, so it's likely that there is some genetic admixture from Turkish Jews, likely Khazars. So that's all they are. They're just Italians that converted to Judaism. So, what does Eli Lake do with his fake account? It says it's trying to make an argument about a mutated allele on the Y chromosome, which I've seen a million times. No. So there may have been a founder effect from a mutated allele on the Y chromosome that some Ashkenazis have in common with some Middle Easterners. But again, there are plenty of Ashkenazis that don't have this mutated allele. And it's only on the Y chromosome, which means that only males have it, and even then, not all male Ashkenazis have it. So where did it come from? Well, very likely it came from a founder effect, where a population of less than 100 Arab Jews left the Middle East and then settled in what's today known as Italy, but back then would have been what was the remnants of the Roman Empire. And what these Jewish supremacists try to say is that Jews were fleeing persecution in the Middle East. No. This is a lie. Okay? You don't flee persecution when you have less than 100 people and they're all male. Okay? The vast majority of Jews just remained in the Middle East. They didn't go anywhere. The ones who left were actually nothing more than Roman collaborators. Okay? They were traitors. If you look at a map, you'll notice there's a giant sea in between Palestine and Italy. So the only ones who had ships that could cross this were the Romans. And the only Jews they would take on these ships were the collaborators, the Roman collaborators who betrayed their own people. And the reason, you gotta wonder, why didn't they take their families. Why was it? Why were they only males? It's because they were part of the Jewish priestly caste, the equivalent of that back then, and they didn't have any families, no legitimate ones anyway. And when the Roman Empire declined, the collaborators just went with the Romans because if they remained in the Middle East, their own Jewish people would have murdered them. So they weren't fleeing persecution, they were running away. That's what really happened. So then he uses a canard of Hamas using human shields, which I don't tolerate this, okay? Israel's the one who uses human shields. Every accusation that these Jewish supremacists make is a confession. And it pisses me off because this guy was literally defending Jews who rape and murder kids, and then he accuses others of using human shields. Hamas does not use human shields, Israel does. I made an entire video about that. I'm going to link in the description. So then, when he can't defend his Jewish pseudoscience, he begins defending Jews who rape and murder kids. This is the most sick thing imaginable. Okay, I pointed out to him, to this Jewish supremacist, that the first terrorist attacks in the Middle East were done by Jewish terrorists. Okay, the leader of this Jewish terrorist organization was Menachem Begin, Menachem Begin, if you prefer. He was the leader of the Jewish terrorist organization Irgun, and they blew up the King David Hotel, killing over 90 people. Again, I made a video about this. I'll link it in the description. This terrorist attack was the first terrorist attack in the Middle East. There was no Islamic terrorism before 1948. So here we have Eli Lake, who gaffes and decides to reveal itself as this guy Franklin Bluth. So he actually responded to the debate I was having with his burner account, Franklin Bluth, and he complimented his own burner account by saying, "You're cooking this dude. It's this guy." And then I said, "LOL, you're the one who made the false premise that Jews are indigenous to the Middle East. Jews aren't a monolith, nor an ethnicity. Anyone can convert and become Jewish. Ancient Israelites weren't Jewish either." Then Eli Lake says, "You're out of your depth, Donnie." Then I make fun of it. "I see you hate the objective fact that ancient Israelites weren't Jews. Sorry, Donnie. Oh, and Arabs were Jews before any white boy like you was. King Herod was an Arab." As you can see here, yeah. King Herod, born in South Palestine. His father was an Edomite. Man of great influence and wealth, who increased both by marrying the daughter of a noble from Petra. Thus Herod was of Arab origin, although he was a practicing Jew. Arabs were Jews before any Ashkenazi ever existed. So, Eli, using its burner account, its fake account, got really mad at me for refuting all of its Jew race science, its pseudoscience, this debunked garbage, and tried to make it personal by posting those videos by SSSniperwolf, which, as you saw, the video by TehMimi, a fantastic video. I'll post a link to that in the description as well. It was slander and lies. And this piece of shit amplified it. I don't forget that. I don't forgive that. So, that's the reason why I decided to expose Eli Lake in this video. Because you don't do that stuff. Ever. So, that's about it for now. Eli Lake and Franklin Bluth, as you can see, made these accounts at nearly the same time. And Franklin Bluth, as you can see, it joined in January 2009. It's kind of hard to see here, but it only has 36 followers and only following 83 people since 2009. And I checked the timeline of this account, and it basically was almost entirely inactive until after October 7th. So Eli Lake has been just kind of sitting on this this burner account for a while and has been using it since October 7th in order to harass, attack, slander pro-Palestinian people, people who are against the genocide of children, of innocent civilians, and has been advancing Jewish supremacy using debunked Jew race science. Okay, these are racist arguments. These are Jewish supremacist arguments. And he's been using this fake account in order to do it. Okay, if you look at this account, it's basically empty. Like if you look at the media, there aren't any media. There isn't any media uploaded before December of 2023. Okay, it's so obvious that this is a burner account of his. Anyway, just wanted you guys to know about that. And as for you, Eli, okay, if I ever do file a lawsuit, a second lawsuit against SSSniperwolf, you're going to be on that lawsuit as well. See ya.